Coming up next on Win, fears for the welfare of missing Westmoona man Elson Kittle, missing since Friday. And relief as the state government commits to funding 42 new paramedics.
Across Tasmania, this is Win News.
Tonight, a ground and air search for a Westmoona man missing since Friday. The Supreme Court rules a not-for-profit aged care provider doesn't have to pay rates and calls to better manage Tasmania's tourism boom. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, relief for frontline workers as the state government funds 42 new paramedics, plus tough times for Food Bank Tasmania running out of supplies. Tasmania Police has failed to find any trace of a 70-year-old Westmoona man who's been missing since Friday. Search and rescue crews today scoured Lena Valley and the foothills of Mount Wellington in a bid to find the much-loved father of four.
Police have taped off Lumia Avenue in Lena Valley as they ramp up the search for Elson Kittle. The 70-year-old's family and friends were among the 50-strong group helping out today, doing all they can to find the beloved father.
When I found out, I just got chills, and I hope they find him and he's all right. And
the search will resume tomorrow morning. Lucy Braden, Win News.
A Launceston man has faced court charged over a stabbing at Ravenswood yesterday that left a 59-year-old man with minor injuries. Eleanor Watt filed this report.
Bruce, 58-year-old Peter Ponting pleaded not guilty in the Launceston Magistrates Court to wounding. Police allege the 58-year-old Ravenswood man stabbed a 59-year-old man on Lambert Street yesterday afternoon. The 59-year-old victim was taken to the Launceston General Hospital with minor injuries and was later discharged.
A prison guard has told the Launceston Magistrates Court the man allegedly involved in a 12-hour standoff with police in Prospect on Saturday was today too unwell to appear via video link. 29-year-old Kane Richardson has been charged with threatening and resisting a police officer, firearms offences and causing fire with intent to injure property. The matter has been adjourned until next month. A not-for-profit aged care provider has won its legal fight against paying council rates in Tasmania, with the Supreme Court finding Southern Cross Care is entitled to an exemption. It's a decision that could result in councils losing millions over the next 10 years.
It's a rates debate with significant consequences. Southern Cross Care says the decision by councils to charge rates over the past 2 years on a number of retirement facilities has increased its bills by more than $500,000. Both Clarence and Hobart City Councils say they're also disappointed by the decision. Sophie Coral, Win News.
Newly elected Kingborough Mayor Dean Winter has joined calls for a tourist tax to manage the influx of visitors to the Apple Isle. The Tasmanian Hospitality Association has rejected the idea, and as Ainsley Kosh reports, it's not the only one fired up.
As Tasmania continues to reap the benefits of a major tourism boom, local councils are banding together to help manage the impact on the local economy, particularly Bruny Island residents who are fed up with growing tourist numbers.
For us as local councils, what it means is a lot more new infrastructure projects that are required, and at the moment we're just not capturing the revenue that we need.
Food Bank Tasmania has revealed it's running out of supplies to feed hundreds in need across the state, describing the situation as heartbreaking. The organisation says it's struggled to get suitable donations, and that will only get worse if the federal government cuts funding to Food Bank Australia. But the government has now promised additional money to help the charity transition to new arrangements.
Last year, Food Bank Tasmania provided around 2.5 million meals to those struggling to make ends meet. While demand is ever increasing, the organisation says it's experiencing the worst shortage of supplies it's ever seen. Sophie Coral, Win News.
After the break this Monday, should Tasmania be given a greater say on migrants? Plus, the state government unveils the 5 locations to trial free preschool. Government has not backed away from Scott Morrison's newest immigration policy, which would force all states and territories to prove they can adequately cope with migrant numbers.
Tasmania, we would always and have always welcomed skilled migration into this state, not only for building our population, but we need schools in Tasmania.
The federal government is considering capping the number of immigrants to less than 200,000 a year. The state government has unveiled the 5 pilot locations to provide free preschool for around 50 eligible 3-year-olds next year. Glenorchy, Devonport, Kingborough, Derwent Valley and Launceston will pilot the program that will be rolled out around the state in 2020. It's hello to Amy. Duggan and Ames, one of the state's most promising young boxers, is literally preparing for the fight of his life.
He sure is, Bruce. Jaden Joseph's eyeing off an Oceania Cruiserweight title. We'll have the details on that next. Also tonight, we catch up with Richie Port, who's using a trip back home to prepare for a big 2019.
This report brought to you by Ford. Get your year-end bonus now at participating Ford dealers.
Sport Tasmanian cycling star Richie Port has returned home for some much-needed time with family as 2018 draws to a close. It's been a year of ups and downs for the Tasmanian, who will start 2019 with a new team.
After a strong start, it was a year of mixed results for Launceston-born cyclist Richie Port.
It's been an up and down year, to be honest. Obviously, Tour Down Under was a nice race for me.
New South Welshman Cam Ivory has taken out the Stand Shaker Classic. The race is the main event of the Launceston Cycling Festival, which saw thousands of spectators line the streets near City Park last night. The event also featured a number of other races, including Masters, Women's and Junior events. Women's footy in Tasmania has received a boost with confirmation Lauderdale and North Launceston will join the TSLW from season 2019. One of the state's most promising boxers is preparing for the fight of his life, with the winner set to be crowned Oceania Cruiserweight champion. Jaden Joseph says he's younger and faster than Victorian Kane Watts, but Watts will bring plenty of firepower when the two go head-to-head next month.
Jaden Plugger Joseph is building an impressive CV on the cruiserweight circuit, but a WBA Oceania belt will give him a shot at the big time.
Before I go, there's some good news for Hobart Hurricanes fans. With confirmation today, West Indian all-rounder Hayley Matthews has re-signed for this year's WBBL, Bruce.
Great news, Ames, thank you. And speaking of Hayleys, we have one joining us in the studio now. Hayley Francis returns with weather and showers possible for the state tomorrow. Hales.
Good evening, Bruce and Amy. That's right. These will most likely develop about the north late morning before extending to the east by the afternoon. I'll have all the details next.
This report brought to you by Sporty Feature Pack Mazda 3. It's time to own it.
Well, conditions were unusually dry across the state today and temperatures were a couple of degrees above the November average in most places. This weather photo tonight is thanks to Bob, who snapped this from Alona on Bruny Island. Remember, if you would like to share a photo, you can send it through to tasweather@windnetwork.com.au. Taking a look around the state today, Devonport struggled to stretch beyond the teens and topped out at just 19 degrees by mid-afternoon. St Helens 20 degrees the top, 22 for Launceston. Swansea the same there, and then further south, Oatlands 19 degrees, and Hobart took the prize for the warmest spot in the state with a top of 24 degrees around lunchtime. On the satellite and synoptic, a high over the Tasman Sea directs a northeasterly flow over Tasmania ahead of an approaching trough and cold front. This trough will cross Tasmania later tomorrow and the front will weaken before crossing on Wednesday morning. Onto the waters. In the north, cloudy with a westerly swell below 1 metre. For the east, northerly winds at 15 to 20 knots. In the south, seas below 1 metre, increasing to 2 metres in the morning. And for the west, possible showers and north to northeasterly winds up to 30 knots. A strong wind warning is in place for coastal waters tomorrow. Also a small craft alert for the Central Plateau Lakes. Taking a look at the forecast for tomorrow, fine until light showers develop about elevated parts of the north and west late morning, becoming more frequent about the west by the evening. Northerly winds tending northwesterly will freshen in the afternoon. Interstate tomorrow for Sydney, mostly sunny about tomorrow and a possible shower for Adelaide. Adelaide. And looking ahead back home for Burnie, conditions remaining cloudy for the next few days with just the slight chance of a shower ahead. For Launceston, cloud clearing a little by midweek, a possible shower on Friday, and for Hobart, showers developing by Wednesday and a dip in temperatures by late in the week. So conditions not staying too dry for long, Bruce.
Thanks so much for that, Hayley. We'll leave you tonight with vision from Remembrance Day in Tasmania.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.